Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Circle Direct Podcast, where we discuss all things health and wellness. I'm your host, Ifedayo, a pharmacist and a gluten-free advocate. For today's episode, we'll be discussing things that relate to the options we have available in the market, which are gluten-free flours. Last week's episode, you know that we actually discussed on gluten-free allergy, people that have gluten sensitivity and other forms of food allergies. And definitely, as we have highlighted all those things, a lot of us will be wondering that, okay, now that I know that, for those of us that have actually ran the test as discussed and discovered that they now have wheat-based allergies, and you're now wondering that, okay, I have these wheat-based allergies. What are the options available for me? Before I discuss the options, the good news that I want to let you know is that Nigerian diet is greatly or largely gluten-free. From our yam to our potato to our rice, even our beans, our corn, our maize, majority of all these items are gluten-free. So I'll be letting you know that just because you are having all these sorts of food allergies doesn't mean that you'll be so restricted that you can't even enjoy your snack times. Another thing I want to highlight is that have we discovered that when we go to the market, when we want to buy flour being used is used as a broad term because the things that we're actually buying from the market is actually wheat-based flour. So that has made me understand that anything that can be grinded and milled into a fine powder is actually flour. So for instance, your grain can be grinded into flour and therefore it becomes the flour that it is. Your tubers like your yam, your potato, even cassava will be turned into your tapioca flour. Your legumes like your beans, your chickpea, that also can be grinded and be turned into flour. Or even your vegetables like your ugu, you can actually grind these things and use them as flour. So I just wanted to let you know that so you'll not be confused as to, okay, can I actually make confectionaries out of this kind of tuber or that kind of tuber? Now that being said, we're now going to discuss the type of flours that we have. We have a vast variety of flours in Nigeria, but we're going to mention just 3 today. We're going to talk about rice, we're going to talk about coconut, and we're going to talk about sorghum. So now to rice. Rice, a very, very popular staple in our Nigerian diet. Do you know that you actually can use rice in your baked goods? Yes. So rice, basically rice flour, is when you mill your rice grain, you mill it and you make it into a fine powder. It turns into your flour. One thing that I realized in the use of rice flour for making your confectionery is that it has a sort of what a term they call gritty. It has a very grimy taste. So if you're going to use rice flour, either you use the one that has been super finely milled, or when you get your rice flour, you can still pass it through your mixer at home so that you can grind it to a finer powder for you to use. Now, rice has always been used, apart from just eating it as a grain, it's been used for making your swallow, which our northern brothers call to shinkafa, or is used for a sort of pillowy kind of snack called masa. And masa can be eaten with your suya as a savory dish. Rice is very, very versatile in that you can make it for your cakes, you can use it to make your crackers, you can make it to use your cookies, you can even use it as a dessert for what we call rice pudding. There is another type of rice that we have, but that one is not actually grown in Nigeria. It's grown in the southeast or the eastern Asia. That is called glutinous rice. The glutinous rice is what we use for what the Chinese people use for making things that they call mooncakes or some types of noodles. This rice is also called sticky or sweet rice and is mostly found in oriental dishes. Now, rice flour can be made into noodles also. So if you love pasta or you love spaghetti or even love noodles and you're like, oh, does it now mean that since I have gluten sensitivity, I can't have all these things anymore? You can turn your rice flour into rice noodles and eat it. And then for those of you that might be wondering that, oh, it might be a bit difficult for me to make that, it's found in various supermarkets in Nigeria. Then we're going to now discuss coconut flour. Coconut flour as it stated, is basically made from your dried coconut meat. Your coconut meat is that part of the coconut. When you have, let's say you want to make your coconut milk, deshell the coconut. After deshelling the coconut, you grind it. You now wash it. You would add water to it, blend it. Then the liquid content, you extract it out. Then the leftover dried shaft, that is your coconut meat. So what they do in producing your coconut flour is that coconut meat, they pass it through your they call it a dehydrator. After passing it through a dehydrator, they will now mill it. After milling it, they use it for your coconut flour. But one thing about coconut flour is that you have to ensure that after you have made your own coconut flour from home, you have to seal it. You know why? Because it has a very high fat content. So because of that high fat content, if it's exposed to air, it goes bad. That is rancid. It will have this off taste. So coconut flour has a very versatile property. It can be used for your bread. It can be used for pancakes. It can even be mixed. For those of us that love what we call parfaits, you can get your Greek yogurt. You just sprinkle your coconut flour on it. So, and the beauty of having your parfait with coconut flour is that you have your probiotics in it, and then your coconut flour is giving you essential fatty acids, and is also giving you fiber, because coconut flour is actually high in fiber. Then the beauty of coconut flour again is that for those of us that are on what they call a keto diet is people that want to abstain from carbohydrates. Coconut flour is something that you can add to your meal. Then coconut flour, because of the high content, the high fiber content, is also good for your digestive health. So for digestive issues, people that tend to have constipation, coconut flour is very, very ideal for them. And you can use it as a swallow. The only setback in using coconut flour for your swallow is that it doesn't bind very well, So that means that whenever you want to stir it in your pot, it will scatter. It will not hold. So you have to add something. So what you can add, like I would advise, is either if you have gari, you can add gari to it, or there is a product they call xanthan gum. Xanthan gum is like a glue. So when you add xanthan gum to your coconut flour, it binds it. So and the beauty of it again is that if you are diabetic, coconut flour is very good for you. So the next thing I'm going to discuss is sorghum. Sorghum it's similar to millet, but it's a cereal on its own. It's grown in North Africa. It's the 5th largest produced cereal after wheat, barley, rice, and corn. So it's very, very versatile. It has a sort of a nutty, earthy taste. It's very sweet. In Nigeria, we use it for swallow. We use it for pap. That's our local pudding. And then we also use it for making a local beverage called burukutu. Now, for your sorghum, it's very nutrient dense. It's high in fiber, very proteinous. And like I said, anything that has high fiber content is good for your gut health. So anybody that has any issue with digestive problems, people that tend to have challenges when it comes to going to the toilet, using your sorghum as in your daily meal intake is very, very, very good for you. So sorghum, because of the taste, it goes well with anything that has ginger. So if you're someone that loves, you like to have ginger snacks, you like anything that has ginger in it, you can use sorghum for making your ginger cookies. You can use sorghum for making your pancakes. You can even use sorghum for making swallow. Yes. So for instance, we have people that they love semolina as a swallow, but because they are diabetic, they have to stay away from it. Sorghum is your very good choice. Anytime you have sorghum swallow, you are already sure that you have your fiber content. You are sure you'll be full because of the fiber, and of course, you will not have fluctuating blood sugar levels. Before I end the discussion, the flours that I discussed, your coconut, your sorghum, your rice, they have their own unique taste. They are not like your regular white flour. So if you have been eating white flour, or if you have been using wheat flour for making your baked goods, now introducing these different varieties of flour, it will give its own unique texture and taste. So it's something that you would acquire. The taste will have to be acquired over time. Thank you so much for listening to today's topic. I believe that today was very enlightening, and the information that we provided today was very, very informative also. Please, as always, be free to share this video to your friends and family, and also your loved ones that have health issues. Drop comments on any other topic you would love us to cover, so that we would always give you the up-to-date information that would be of benefit to you. And remember very well to always place your health in priority. Have an amazing day.